Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to my review here of MTV Scream, episode 7. Um, Last couple of weeks, I was unable to have my co-host, a partner in crime, so to speak, for these episodic reviews, Jay. Great to have him back this week, so let's welcome him onto the show. Jay, how are you doing?
Hey, Steve. Glad to be back. It's been a while, but I'm glad to be back.
So I guess right off the top, since you were unable to be here for the last couple of weeks, let the people know your thoughts or feelings or whatever you wanted to share about the last, either just last episode or last couple episodes that you can try to find in your memory bank of what you thought were big moments in the last episodes or just your review in general.
Yeah, I guess I'll start first with last week. From what I can remember, I thought it took a big twist with Audrey. Kind of, I guess towards the end. Let's get towards the end part. Nobody wants to hear about the beginning of the show last week, but where she kind of trapped Noah and thinking it was the Scream killer character who did it, and she did it, and he came up with all these secrets, and it was funny, and she thought, well, maybe I thought you believe me if I trapped both of us in here. So it was our idea. Emma was supposed to be there. Then he actually appeared, and you know, they were all able to escape safely. I thought um, excuse me, what happened with Mr. Branson, the teacher, being hooked up to the bed last week, thinking he's going to get probably sex or something, and that wasn't the case, and the killer came in and had that hot iron and woo, painful, huh, Steve? What hands cut off, and then just right with the where the open sore was, all that blood pouring, just putting that iron, that hot iron on there would just make me feel like ouch. You know what I mean? Some stuff you look at and I'm glad that's not me, and you kind of feel and kind of imagine what the pain will be like. But so yeah, he's Mr. Branson was one of the guys last week that took all of it, but it was interesting. It's starting to take a twist with the whole school thing. I don't think I was here to review that. The guy making all those comics and stuff, and being revealed, and he got beat up for it, and he was just making a comic about the the podcast and the people involved, Emma and all of them, with Scream, and it was just so much of a it was just so much of a uh, oh my god, um, this is just surprising to everyone, and and it wasn't nothing like that, but um yeah, I thought, what's name, what's Emma's so-called boyfriend's name?
Kieran?
Kieran, yeah, the one who kind of ratted out her in the first place, going to the sheriff, and I don't like the way that I don't think sheriff is it, but I mean, possibly, I don't like the sheriff is going through what's name's phone, telling everybody it's he can't unlock it, and at the end of the day he can, and just a little fishy. I don't like the way he's being fishy and trying to get the ends and stuff, and just trying to twist up everybody.
Now, with
Uh,
the
yeah, go ahead.
no, I didn't mean to stop you. I was just gonna ask you, with the last couple of episodes and not being able to be on here, heading into tonight's episode, who were like, or who was at least your number one suspect? Did it
Hmm.
change from the last time we spoke, or
Jesus, I would have to go with the sheriff. I would have said the sheriff last week. I would have.
Mhm.
It seems like when things are going down, he's not around, and he thinks he's trying to fix it, but really he's the problem, and he's not trying to solve it because he is the uh he's the killer. It's prior my prediction. That would have been it last week. And then I'm gonna hope for what I'm gonna say this week as we get to the review. But that's what I think. But yeah, I thought last week and all that kind of stuff with the school it being locked down, no one could come in and out, and all that kind of fun stuff. Uh, I I just thought was pretty good episode last week, and then the house event where they were drinking, and Audrey realized who did this come from, and she knows he was dead because of the setup and things like that, and just everything taking a big twist and everything. So kind of expected to see what's going to happen this week, and then of course now next week and 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, and for me, it was always Kieran continued to be, but I did put the sheriff in there on my suspect board last week. Um, he did seem shady, especially some things he did tonight. In this episode, definitely can point him out to be on the on anybody's short list, indeed. But I guess jumping into this week's episode, Emma and Kieran having some issues, situations back and forth, fights, and I guess excuse me, Eli, cousin or Kieran's cousin, getting good with Emma, and then she gets maybe not a budding romance, but budding something. Uh, but specifically, with the sheriff going to the old farmhouse, finding a picture of Emma, the little girl, and right away, him being shady, not telling his officer or the officer that was with him, his subordinate, about it, about what he found and everything. He's being shady now. Maybe just shady because of something that's a big reveal, but nothing to do with who the killer is. More of a reveal of this Emma and the family. Because later on we have the situation with Sheriff and Maggie, Emma's mother. But I guess specifically with this picture of the farmhouse, get to the situation. What are your thoughts on what that whole situation is between Sheriff and Emma's mother?
Yeah, I don't like that connection. I don't like what's going on there. I definitely agree with you when you say it fishy. It just looks all fishy and suspicious, and that's why I go about last week and then this week. It's just um, I think they're doing a good job, Steve, with making you think somebody this week, and then guess what? Next week you get your mind changed. Or I don't know about you, but for me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I told you at one point of the show, I thought Emma's mother would be the killer. So I mean, they're really being twisted, manipulating us, thinking who could be it. But I think you're definitely right on that case. Yeah, very suspicious and replacing the pictures and stuff. I just don't like it. And I guess that's the whole point. I shouldn't like it.
Yeah, it gets your mind thinking. That's the point of this, and that's why I love this show and love shows like this. Not specific murder mysteries or stuff like that, but just mysteries in general. Finding out finding out puzzles, solving puzzles, finding the right fit, as we always talk about. And I guess another thing to bring up that I've been bringing up in the last couple of episodes myself is always, if you have to watch some episodes from season one and kind of put them in place, which is what we're doing in season two. And the way thinking of that way is, as I said previously, season two has its own story arc, and we're moving forward with the new characters and everything. But some situations, some interactions with Piper, specifically with some of the characters, that in season one might not have been a clue period for season one, let alone in general of how their involvement is with the whole grand scheme of things of the story. The other interesting situation, Noah and Zoe, they drive up to the lake talking about past things, and Zoe, excuse me, Zoe, she lies about going to some camp uh, while the murders were taking place because no one knows it was a lie because he's been applying there. I think he said 6, 7 times and something like that, knowing when it is, and something else was bothering Zoe. She gets a phone call from someone. I missed who the name was on the phone, the caller ID, but she didn't answer it, and they were hanging out there in the lake. So that's kind of setting up there for their relationship, so to speak. Well, hopefully for Noah this time, I can last throughout the entire season, and she won't be the next one to be killed off. But that's an interesting dichotomy, I guess. I guess we'll speak specifically with Noah and Zoe. What are your thoughts there between those two?
Yeah, it's funny first. I don't know. I look at the little things, and what I mean by that is I'm gonna start with. I mean, I know she wants to get closer to Noah, and maybe they can build a relationship. And she's kind of trusting him to tell him this kind of stuff, only because she's kind of getting caught in her own lie that she had to finally reveal to him. But it seems like she wants in. And as we've seen, I guess as we'll get into it, I don't want to get too far into it. Her being in Noah's room, and I just think. I look at her and she's playing this gullible, nice character, all quiet student, but I think this is just her way of getting in and getting access to what she wanted. As we seen a small clip of what she was doing. Well, Noah left the room. You know what I mean, Steve. So, as we get into that, I think she's either in on it to help or I don't know what it is. I think everyone is out to get Emma and Noah and Audrey. It's just you got to keep your circle small, and you can't really trust others. And I think Noah might find out the hard way because it seems like Noah knows everything. And when it comes to a female, Steve, you should know, you get distracted, and it can't be the love of my life. And
Right.
yeah, she's not the love of your life. She doesn't really love you. She played a good game on you, Noah. So that's what it was. But absolutely, I just look at that kind of stuff. So everything she shared, I mean, I don't know if she was telling the truth after she, because she had to make that stuff up. But I think she's trying to get in. Her in is Noah.
Yeah, I was just actually just thinking while you're speaking there. It's almost like keep your um, friends closer, enemies closer kind of thing. Maybe she's trying to get in, like you said. If it's her past, if she's revealing or hasn't revealed something that's big that might pin her, at least as a suspect, to be the killer. But maybe from another saying, like from Stone Cold Steve Austin himself, don't trust anybody, kind of thing. And that's kind of how things are having to go. It's through this whole entire season here in season two. It's all about it's about Emma and the killer getting to her head, making her not trust anybody, and then her friends fighting with amongst each other, questioning everybody, and us as fans with our theories, thinking that hey, this week it could be this. I know a couple of weeks ago, or the last time you were on, I was talking about Emma's father uh, having a couple of red flags for me being on my suspect board that week, suspect list in that week. So everybody thinking this, thinking that, which is good. Good conversation, different opinions, people thinking in different ways, and in the end, somebody's going to be correct. Whether it's a majority or minority of people thinking whoever the killer ends up to be, but specifically with Noah and Zoe, um, I think, or I hope that at least this should be able to go a little bit longer. Find a little bit more about her, because if there is a big or even a bigger secret to tell, we don't want to get to a point where the killer kills her off before we said, sort of situation there. And the other story with Brooke and Branson, um, they go back to the house. He's not there anymore. He contacts her. She's feeling bad because she's the one running there and thinking now that he'll tell, and that's he's threatening her and everything of that, and wanting to meet in the school, and her and Audrey go there. Kind of, and in the end, it was a big trap. I guess we could just go ahead and all general. Um, and then Miss Lang uh, situation with the killer there as well. So that whole economy there, those scenes are very interesting, especially for Miss Lang. I know there's a couple of people thinking or were thinking or that she would be the killer, um, because of her relationship with her kind of being like how Piper was, um, being close to Emma, trying to be her confidant and stuff like that. What do you think of all this, Miss Lang's relationship with Emma, Brooke, Brooke Branson, Audrey's situation, and all above?
Yeah, she is somebody to look at, but I don't think they're gonna fool me with her. I don't know what she's up to with all these tapes and being apologizing to Emma and asking for her to forgive her, and she of course she says she did forgive her, but get out of my face if I call the police, etc. Because she is recording the whole conversation. She is just as fishy, and I dislike her just as much. And I make it's like heels. Even though like heels, I in this case, in these scenarios, in these type of shows, I don't. Her, I didn't mean to lock you in the door. Oh, whatever. And it's just bullcrap. But yeah, she what her doing what she did, like I said, locking her in the room that one episode that I wasn't here for, and then recording this conversation and locating him, and then as you seen, she was under attack in this episode, so it kind of eliminates her almost by default, just about, because the character, I won't say guy because it might be a female, got in. her personal space and destroyed everything, Steve. And of course, as you've seen, so I think she's just under attack. I don't know. She's trying to find out herself who it may be, but as everybody investigates individually, they find out they're running into more problems with the killer itself. But she's someone I also don't like. She's someone that people are thinking could be it, even probably before, maybe still even after seeing what happened with her as well. But very fishy. And you gotta look at it as a suspect though. Either way it goes.
Yeah, and then later or near the end of the episode with the situation between Maggie, Emma's
Oh yeah.
mother, and the sheriff, knowing a little bit more than they're letting on, not only who the possible killer is, but just the situation from that picture that the sheriff found at the beginning of the episode. Um, because earlier the sheriff made a call to somebody about the finding, and it wasn't Maggie, it was somebody else that he called. And when Maggie and the sheriff were talking together, she asked if the sheriff, if he called that individual. Forgetting the name, apologize. But again, that situation being interesting, so to speak. I mean, the sheriff's always been fishy to me. Then again, everybody's been fishy to me because that's the way they're writing it. Everybody's suspect. Everybody, you can really, if you really wanted to, have a have a reasonable argument that you think that person's a killer, whether it's Emma's father, Eli, or whoever, anybody that's part of the show. Um, but the other thing, Eli and Emma, Eli tries to kiss Emma because they go into a housing construction site area, a house, and they get close. He tries to make a move on her, thinking maybe she cheated on Kieran. They are having problems and fighting, and maybe he's trying to get in for his own motives, just as Zoe with her situation. But then the house is ablaze. They leave. Eli convinces her not to talk about it because he's already in trouble with the cops, and that's kind of how the episode ends. So, what do you, I guess, thoughts there on the final scenes and Emma and Eli?
Yeah, I mean, Emma and Eli, we've seen these two together a lot, and even in this episode, they were walked in on as they were kind of looks like they were flirting at work, which they were, but you may look at it a different way. Um, and then of course, like you said, at the end of the show where they were in the house and oh, he was so close, and kind of got a nip, and she's like, I can't do this. Um, and then bam, the house gets on fire, and you get the tub full of bodies. Was that Mr. Branson in that tub, right, Steve?
I believe so. I
That's what
don't know
I'm
that for
thinking.
sure. That's actually I was going to ask you because I didn't know, and from the scenes I saw before, it didn't really occur that would be or wouldn't be, but I would assume so.
It looks like it was because it looked like the arm. I was paying attention to the arms, of course. So I think I'm about right. Like he's not dead after that. Because I mean, even though his hand is cut off and stuff like that, lost a lot of blood somehow, some way. Miracles can happen, and I think this might finally set it off. If the episode went off, but of course, if the whole house caught on fire, went down to ground, and of course, he's unable to make it out. But we'll see because if they don't explain it and if they don't continue on where they left off and they say it burnt down to pieces, then we'll never know if he made it out alive or not. It looks like he wasn't going to be able to, but you never know if they don't really, show him screaming next week and now now okay he's now can be written off because then he could be a potential later on trying to get back because of leave him high and dry to die, basically, and whatnot, and wait, for her to come back to, unloose someone or whatnot, and that's not going to be the case. But of course, she's terrified because, oh, now he's going to tell and all this other stuff, and of course, it's probably not. Um, but yeah, I'm sure she was just, so scared, and then went to the school and seen what's the teacher now and blood, all over, and he called an ambulance, whatever for her. So, um, but yeah, so the ending with going back to Emma, um, he has to watch out. I think this is going to cause a big conflict later on as the weeks go by because nothing was pretty much addressed or said. So wig, and then with the whole house, then with him being in trouble with the police, I think we're gonna get more and more and more. It's gonna get more juicy, Steve, as we go along.
Oh, yeah, we have almost like halfway there. Seven episodes down, 7 episodes to go. At least that's from what I found. Of 14 episodes total for the season. So it's gonna be a fun ride going forward. I guess near the end, what would you say, whether the top five or however you want to do with your suspect list? Um, who do you have there on that list here after this week?
Uh, so my if I had to do it, let me see top. Jesus. Um, Now I'm looking at Kieran a little bit because he's not saying anything after seeing, Emma, and not addressing, the things he don't like. But the sheriff still and Kieran, I think you always had Kieran, Steve. I don't think I ever been on the show where you didn't mention Kieran in your top three, top five, or wherever might not. You
Hmm.
always think he's a suspect. And I will still look at the guy. What's I forget his name, the one who does the comics. I'm still looking at him sideways, even though he was not on this show, right, Steve? Am I
No,
right?
no, I didn't see him at all.
I still highly suspect him. And then Emma's mother is at the bottom of that list as well. So there's four. And now if Mr. Branson's able to get out of all of this, he might, just ride along with the, find out who the killer is just to help out. Um, but that would be my top four.
Okay. For me, for my top five, top four, whatever, I'll put five. I've done five since the start. So fifth, Audrey. From the very start here of the second season, making her out to be the number one accomplice, to be the
Mhm.
killer. Um, still hiding a secret, a big secret to be revealed by the thing that Piper was saying is the other surprise for Emma that she was gonna probably tell before she was shot. There at the end of the series finale for season one with her reveal. Uh, the sheriff, I
Mhm.
have now on my list number four. Number three, Eli. And number two, Emma's mother, Maggie.
Mm.
Our suspicion with the sheriff in that situation, what that could lead to. And number one, as it always is and might forever be, Kieran. Just seems suspicious to me all the way from season one. Um, whether I'm right or wrong, I'm gonna hold on to that. But Maggie and the sheriff are definitely slowly going up the ranks on my list. We'll see how the next 6 episodes leading to the finale goes, and maybe I might actually have a new number one at some point in this season. But as of right now, it's Kieran. Like I said, to me, he's the biggest suspect to me, and we'll have to see if how all things unfold. Because just with I think it was more his demeanor, some of the things he does, and all that in between,
Mhm.
the little things and the big things, putting them together like a puzzle, makes me think that he or has him to be my number one for my series. Now, did you see? I don't know if you saw the. Did you see the preview for the next week?
Yes, yes.
Do you have any predictions or even just general thoughts on the preview and what you think might be happening next week?
I would say, I mean, from next week's preview. Uh, Now I'm trying to recap what did they show? What was it? Steve, do you remember what? I mean, I forgot already what the trailer was about. Oh no, I remember now. Emma, Karen is right. Isn't he like in a trap now? He's in need for help.
Someone's tied up. And she goes back to that.
Clown circuits,
Yeah, that.
crazy crap. Goes for the save, and she sees him again, and she has a gun now this time. And did she pull the trigger? Probably not, but because somebody, some people always play around, and That guy might not be the actual killer, so or a girl, so you never know what can happen. But it seems like the city celebrating, so many years being in community or something. So when you get all these people together and um, you know, something's gonna go down. And then Audrey looking up at her ceiling, seeing 12 dead. Just little crazy stuff. Probably not gonna be one of the hottest episodes we've seen this season, but just a continuation to kind of collect everything as a whole. And as we get closer and closer to the season finale and things like that, that's when they're gonna be hitting us with a lot at once, I think, and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and like I said, it seems like this is, or at least it seemed like the halfway point, seventh episode of 14, unless I was wrong, unless I got my information from a non-reputable site from where I found the information. But if that is the case, then technically this episode would be the mid-season finale, heading into the home stretch with the next 7 episodes to the season finale. But as I say, each and every episode is meaningful in a way, some more impactful than others, of course, because in most episodes, someone is either killed off or some big, uh, some big information is given, a bombshell, so to speak. But even the ones with less of that and more story progression for characters or character situations, it's all there for a reason. Every scene, every moment, every frame, to be quite honest, at least to me, matters and means at least something. Whether it's mean to be a red herring uh, to make someone look like the killer or not, um, it all matters, and that's why for fans of the show, who I'm sure already know this, you don't want to miss a second of the show. Um, and if you do miss it, definitely check it out. Netflix. New episodes are on Netflix. Also, maybe the app, maybe they have them there. But I know specifically Netflix has new episodes of Scream. Comes up the next day because I know my friend here on YouTube, Julie DG, JULIDG. She watches her episodes the next day because she lives in South America, and she isn't able to watch it live, and so she watches it the next day, and then she gives her reviews on her channel. So if want, I just wanted to give her a shout out while explaining that. So like I said, don't miss an episode, and let us know who you think. Who do you think who the killer is? So let us know here in the comment section below, or follow us on Twitter. Me at army_strong06, and Jay at talking WWE with Jay, just the letter J. Um, so if there's anything that I missed from this episode, I might have. I don't think I did, Jay. If there's any last comments, and you can uh, promote our show as well.
Yeah, very good. I was trying to think. I think we covered the importance of today's show that we just seen. I think everything is well played. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you got everything. Well, yeah. Steve is one of my co-hosts on my. We do a pro wrestling podcast on YouTube.com. And we talk all WWE. So we're live again Thursday, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel. That's youtube.com/talking WWE with Jay.
And as I said, you can follow me on Twitter at army_strong_06. And always welcome to check out my other content here on this channel. And specifically, if you're a fan of MTV Stream, show your support here for us. Like, share, subscribe. Share this, like I said, share the video to others. I want to give a shout out to the MTV, or not MTV, um, AfterBuzz TV. I apologize, AfterBuzz TV, and their Scream review after show um, with Katie Campbell, Pega Rad, and at Holly Rito as well. So those three beautiful ladies, smart women that do their weekly episodic podcast there with AfterBuzz TV, and they're all welcome, if anytime, to be on the show to share their thoughts on a Scream episode as well, and to all others there at AfterBuzz TV. Again, thank you to all those watching live, whether you're here for a couple minutes or for the whole entire thing. We greatly appreciate it, and we'll be back here next week, same time, same channel. And as always, take care.